Do you think you're well prepared for your next interview? You surely might be with your subject. However, a few other common questions asked by an interviewer seem easy but are a little tricky. This video on the top 10 interview questions and answers will help you strategically craft an apt answer for each of these questions and help you answer them smoothly. It is not necessary to memorize these answers. Still, it is advisable to build your answers around the tips we will give you here, based on your skills and experience, of course. By doing so, you will feel more confident and stress-free in your interview. So let's begin and lay out the most commonly asked interview questions that will play a huge role in determining your future. 1. One of the first questions you can expect in an interview is tell me about yourself. Although this seems to be easy, there are a few tips to remember while answering this. Through this question, highlight your education, experience, and hobbies. Don't get too personal while answering this. Simultaneously, make sure to highlight your qualities. Another question that is commonly asked is what is your strength and weakness? This is generally asked to check if you as an individual can identify what you lack and at the same time, understand what you think is a positive trait that you own. We suggest you break this answer into two parts and speak about your strengths first. Do not be overly confident while listing out your strengths, as it can always backfire you. A few good strengths that an interviewer seems fit will be flexibility, teamwork, attention to detail, and so on. You can add whatever else you feel is correct for you. However, don't keep the list too long and brag about yourself. Coming to your weaknesses, you don't have to be very hard on yourself. Think of a particular weakness that also seems to be beneficial in some way. For example, you could say that your attention to detail trait can at times be a disadvantage as you tend to spend more time and deep dive when issues crop up. So this won't be just a weakness since it carries a positive side as well. There are instances where the interviewers ask you if you have overcome your weaknesses. Make sure to mention that you are working on it and trying to improve. 3. Another tricky question can be why do you want this job? It can also be rephrased as why should we hire you? What interests you about this role? This is an answer that you can ace if you plan it well. Through your answer, you can get an opportunity to show what you know about the job you are applying for and the company. Be accurate with your answers. List a few aspects of the job role that appeals to you the most, and speak about ways to contribute to this role. Carrying out good research on the company and understanding the job description will help you answer this question. Mention specific points that will convince the hiring manager that you are a good fit for this particular job. Make sure that you don't sound arrogant at the same time, not too modest. In reality, you might just want the job to fill a career gap for the money. However, it is best if you don't say that and instead polish your answers around these tips. 4. So the next question you can expect is why did you leave your last job? This question might seem a little awkward and can get you. Job seekers get nervous, but don't worry, we will give you a few tips to maneuver through this. So if you were fired from your last job, it is best if you own up to it and tell them what you learned from that experience and how you have to overcome those issues right now. You might think it's best not to tell the truth here, but that's a bad idea, as companies can always do a background check and know the reality. And when that happens, it won't leave a good impression. We all make mistakes, and hence it is okay to own up to it as long as you are fixing those mistakes right now. So, in cases where you have voluntarily left your previous job, explain why. You can mention points like you were looking for a different challenge and indirectly map it with the new position you're interviewing for. You could also say how the new company you are interviewing for has been one of the dream companies and so on. If there are other reasons for it, like budget cuts or economic issues, you can mention those as well. However, at no point should you be speaking wrong of your last company or your previous management. Don't make statements like how boring or mundane your previous job was. Try to answer this question with positivity only. 5. Another question that could be asked is what is your greatest accomplishment at work? Here you can pick an accomplishment that displays the right set of qualities that the company values and those that match the role you're interviewing for. Pick a single accomplishment that you feel will have the most impact. Another way this question can be asked is describe a difficult work situation and how you handled it. This question is asked to assess how well you work in a tough situation and your approach. For this, you need to have a well thought out success story ready. Think of an instance wherein you successfully dealt with a problem all by yourself. Take a story that exhibits your skills to be an asset to the job you're interviewing for. First mention the situation, then move on to the task and action you carried out. Finally, speak about how fruitful the result was. You could speak about a situation wherein your boss was away and how you single-handedly handled issues of a client who was on the verge of leaving, and so on. Basically, through your answer, the interviewer wishes to see how fit you are to handle any problem that could arise. Make sure to be precise with your answer. Display how passionate you are and that you are a problem solver. 6. Moving on to the next question, how do you handle stress and pressure? Don't fall under pressure while answering this question and instead respond calmly. To begin with, don't say that you don't get stressed. As fascinating as that sounds, it is unbelievable since we are all humans indeed. Being overconfident this way will make the interviewer suspicious. Every job comes with its own kind of tension and pressure. This question is asked to know how work pressure affects you and your approach to it. The best way to plan this answer is by providing examples of how you've handled work pressure and stress in the past and how that's molded you for the better. For example, speak about how good pressure can help you. You could say having pressure keeps you motivated and more productive. Mention that the best way you overcome stress is by creating a well-planned schedule that will help you complete the assigned project before the deadline. This shows that you turn stress into action and take it positively to accomplish your tasks. 7. Our 7th question is about your goals. You can be asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Your answer to this question analyzes your commitment to the company. Don't mention how you wish to be the CEO of the company you are interviewing for. That makes it look too unrealistic. Be grounded while answering this question. For example, speak of how you want to break the next 5 years into phases. In the first couple of years, mention how you want to learn everything about your job and acquire new skills. After which, in the next few years, mention how you wish to be in a position to help other team members and the company with your skills and the acquired knowledge. This way, you are showing that you wish to learn and grow at the same time. Another question that can be asked on the same lines is, what are your future goals? This is also asked to determine whether you will stick with a company in the long term. This question also analyzes your ambitions and how you forecast your career. You could answer this in the same way as the mentioned previously. Before answering, do try to understand what you want for yourself and see if the job role you're applying for helps you reach your ultimate desired goals. 8. Our next question is, what can you do for us that other candidates can't? This question is asked bluntly to distinguish yourself from other candidates. It is not very simple to answer this question, hence plan it beforehand. This question can be answered on the lines of your strength and how you stand out from the rest of the pack. At no time should you be critical of other candidates. All you need to do is speak about yourself. Emphasize any special certifications that you have, your prior industry experience, or you could speak about your strong interpersonal skills. In the end, you can mention that the combination of these skills can add great value to the team you will be working with. Remember to keep it precise and don't compare yourself with other candidates, and instead highlight your qualities and skills. 9. Our next question is, what salary are you seeking, or what are your salary expectations? This is asked to check if your salary expectations match the company's amount budgeted for the role you are applying for. To be able to answer this, you need to know your worth. Hence, research the salary range of your role in your area and have an idea about it before replying to this question. For example, if you give a range that is way higher or lower than the market value, it looks like you are unaware of your worth. You could wish to ask for a higher side of the market range, however, you must clearly show that you are flexible and salary can be negotiable. You could also be careful and instead ask for the employer what range they are looking to pay someone your background typically has. This way, you will know what the employer has in his or her mind and speak around that. 10. Our final question is very common. Do you have any questions for me? Usually, the interviewer concludes by asking you if you have any questions for them. Now is the right time for you to clarify your doubts and ask questions. Make sure to ask good and relevant questions. This displays the seriousness you have towards the job. Firstly, if you have any doubts or questions in mind regarding the job role and your day-to-day responsibilities, feel free to ask. Secondly, it is good if you ask about the company's culture. Lastly, you could ask questions regarding the opportunities you will be getting for the professional development in this particular role. It is of utmost importance that you are convinced about the job role and its growth to go ahead. This is the time for you to decide as well if you want this job or not. Based on the interviewer's reply, you can decide if that particular job is good or not for your career. Avoid asking too many questions and questions about off-work activities. Remember that every question you ask shows your seriousness. Hence, avoid asking silly, time-wasting questions. So, those were the top 10 commonly asked interview questions. Now you know the kind of questions you have to review and prepare for before your next interview. Pause and think about it before you respond to any questions. Keep these tips in mind and frame your answers accordingly. Following these tips will surely help you stand out from the crowd. That brings us to the end of this video on the top 10 interview questions and answers. We hope these tips are helpful to all of you job seekers out there, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more from Simply Learn.